Let's give this a go again. I'm starting the live stream. Hi everyone. Good to be back. I'm going to do some chill maths. That's the plan. Good to see you. Not that I can see anyone. Although let's do some shout outs to some followers. I haven't streamed for a few weeks because of things like Easter holidays and open days in Oxford, which, although the open days happen on Saturdays, still make me feel quite busy. I'm going to do shout outs to JHQ Cat, JV Hilbo, Michael Michael Yee 304, and Scuffdude, who have followed me diligently in the time since I've been away going and doing all my open days and stuff. Got a plan. I want to make a particular diagram today. That's my plan. Oh, hello, Herb. How are you doing? I hope you're well. And hi, Mary. Here we go. Yes, right. Getting people together for some diagram fun. I'm doing this course later this year, and I've inherited the lecture notes from the previous lecturer. I would like my contribution to be that I'm adding in some more diagrams. And there's a particular diagram that's relevant that I learnt about on a UKMT summer school. I mean, it's a very good idea, but I saw a very good talk on a UKMT summer school last summer. And I'm going to try and do a bad version of that diagram. So the idea is you've got lots of notes and you've got lots of arrows. Right, okay, Herb's got finals. Ooh, good luck with that. Any advice for 3.75-hour maths exams? At some point during that exam, you're going to be quite stressed, I think, because of there's no chance that you progress at a kind of linear rate, which is maybe what you want to do. You know, you've got a lot to do and you've got some time, so you want to get on with this really linear rate. There's no chance that your function of how much you're getting done is actually linear. So at some point you'll feel like you're behind. The key thing for a long exam is that there is enough time that feeling will go away, maybe. So when it happens, inevitably, that you feel like you're behind on time, just you got to keep going. I had to do some really long exams for university and also for fun, and just I think really I was getting bored, to be honest. I was stuck on things and I was bored because focusing on things for 3 3/4 hours is just a really long time. He says doing a 2-hour stream with a tea break in the middle. How's everyone doing? Have we got tech issues, or is that maybe not? Okay. Yes, good. Right, okay. Here's the diagram. So the idea is you have arrows for which numbers are factors of which other numbers. And the brilliant idea in the talk was that if you keep going in a structured way, so if you multiply if multiplying by 2 takes you sideways and multiplying by 3 takes you down, like this, then you build this lovely square lattice, which it could be a helpful way to arrange the factors of, say, 36. I'm missing some because I've started at 2, but if you wanted all the factors of 36, you could lay them out on this nice lattice where that direction means multiply by 2 and this direction means multiply by 3. You could do these different arrows in different colours if you wanted to really highlight the fact that it's 2 different sorts of things, multiplying by 2 or multiplying by 3. No, can't talk and multiply at the same time. 72, right? 72, 144, 288. But this picture is just so far things that are only multiples of 2 or 3. Those are sometimes called the 3 smooth numbers at the moment in this picture. It is sort of helpful. Like if you only care about numbers that are made of 2s and 3s in their prime factorisation, then yeah, you know, there's 2 to the a, 3 to the b. Why not plot them at coordinates a, comma b? Sort of this one for how many 2s there are, and that one for how many 3s there are. And I suppose b on my picture is going down rather than up. But that's the kind of concept for why laying out factors like this is nice. You sometimes see recreational math puzzles which are sort of take all of the factors of 36 or something and try and arrange them in a certain way, and having a nice visual for what those factors are can be helpful. The problem is that hey, Mary's back again. The problem is that if you want to try and putting in instead 5 smooth numbers, things where the largest prime factor is at most 5, then you need another dimension, you need another direction. So 10 kind of lives over here, 20 is kind of here, 40 is kind of here, but really this should be in the 3rd dimension coming out of the screen at you, which you'll be pleased to know I don't have the technology to do that. 160. Well, you see you get this nice lattice thing because these are still multiples of 2, so I'm trying to draw those parallel. And down here somewhere you've got things like 60, no, not 60, 30. Anyway. Let's draw this coming down like that. Getting the directions on the arrows is a little bit of a challenge. There's 60 down here. Okay, and so on and so on and so on. So you can build this kind of 3D picture. Times 5. So times 5 in that direction. Times 3. And times 2. You might have seen where I'm going with this. Because that's the 5 smooth numbers. Which are things of the form 2 to the A, 2 to the A, 3 to the B, 5 to the C. Where these could be 0 if you like. And I have been funny starting at 2 rather than 1. I think it might be more normal to start at 1. Yes, I sort of should really have 1 over here somewhere, shouldn't I? Oh dear. And numbers like 2 and 3 and 5. Okay, yeah, I'm going to try and avoid 1. 1's a factor of everything. And there's another effect that really, if I'm drawing all these arrows, whenever A is a proper factor of B, then really I should draw arrows like this. But 2 is also a factor of 8, and it's a factor of 16, and it's a factor of 32, which is inelegant. So I suppose the fact here is that if A goes to B and B goes to C, then really A should go to C, but I'm not drawing that. Sorry, lol. Yeah, so I should just have 1, 3. Yeah, okay. So because I started at 2 before the stream started, I wrote 2 and 4 on the board as an example. Where does 1 go on this picture? Well, let's just divide, right? So we could keep going this way. We could keep going this way. We could really keep going this way. Who said we were using positive numbers? All my favourite fractions, here they come. So I guess 5 lives over here and 3 lives down here. Oh, I see, of course, 2, 3, and 5 are the little basis vectors for a kind of grid that starts here. That makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? That's kind of like 0 in a vector space, because it's the identity element or something. Right. Yeah, really, we're just adding together. When you multiply numbers together, you just add the exponents. It's all very nice, isn't it? Okay. And then I suppose down here, what's this? 15? That's nice. Okay. I'm having a lot of fun. Right, good. I'm probably going to forget about the fractions now. Okay, we'll put 1 on this picture like that. There we go. That's nice. The place I'm going with this is, if you think about all of the numbers, then if you think about all of the numbers, all of the positive whole numbers, you could draw a really complicated diagram because it would be infinite dimensional. Because there's infinitely many prime numbers. So even with this restriction that I'm not drawing A to C if there's an intermediate thing B, such that A goes to B and B goes to C. I'm applying a lot of arrows through concatenations of these arrows. Even with that restriction, 1 is connected to all of the prime numbers, and there are loads of prime numbers. Yes. This is Terminator CPU. I don't know what that means. Is this where I admit? If it's a reference to the film Terminator, then I have a horrible thing to admit. What's down here? I thought I was doing 3s, so 45. 9 times 5 is 45. Come on. I shouldn't draw these things in, because then I have to think. Okay, good, right. That's probably enough. Instead, I thought I'd look at small numbers and try and present some version of sort of all of the arrows, small numbers. And I'm going to ignore 1 again, because if I put 1 in there, 1's going to be connected to everything, it should really be, because it's a factor of everything. I'm trying to put proper in here. Maybe everything should be joined to itself as well. Okay. The lecture course that I'm doing has an example of something called a relation, where you have two things being related if, for example, in a graph setting, if there's an arrow from A to B. Or equivalently, you could define it. You could define a relation by saying if there are a path from A to B, which is a slightly different thing, not equivalent. Anyway, here's the diagram I would like to do. It's like that, but just with small numbers. And I think my plan is to construct this diagram without showing the lattice structure, that kind of 3D grid we were building, without showing the lattice structure. Let's type that down because somebody's going to say that really fast. So idea, draw the whole graph, for small numbers, but hide the lattice structure. Oop. If I don't put those in, it's just going to do that. There we go. Help me out, Mario. Is there a setting where I click on like word wrap or something? Okay, and then I'll leave it for the students as a sort of exercise to say, can you discover the true structure? I've spoilt it for everyone in here. Okay, so you've got things like 2, 4. Maybe I just want even numbers. I want to avoid, yeah, okay, let's try small even numbers. I mean, that is, by refusing to write down 1 but then writing down 2, then I am only looking at even numbers, and the kind of bit to the right I was talking about. Hello, Mimagene Rex, you alright? Yeah, I took several weeks off because I was away, and then, I've got a whole series of excuses. Oh gosh, I might show the stream something that I'm quite excited about that has been taking up a huge amount of my time. It's kind of weird. I do all these live streams and talk about loads of stuff, like I do all these live streams and things, but sometimes on here. There's loads going on that I never talk about. We've got a big project which I might try and tell you about because I'm excited. We can discuss the ethics of that later. Good. Okay. So I think I'd like to put 8 over here somewhere, because I want 4 to point to 8. 4 is a factor of 8, but also 2 is a factor of 8. So you see, before, on my lattice structure, I was cheekily not drawing lines like that, where 2 goes to 8. You can kind of see, it should go through the 4. That's because this has a property called transitivity, where, so transitivity, if A goes to B and B has an arrow to C, then A goes to C. I'm writing these arrows, but it could be lots of things. So this sort of fact is also true if you replace these symbols with less than or equal to. That's just a true fact about the less than or equal to sign. It's also true if you put, if this symbol is, what's the good one? I had a good one in mind a second ago. Where's it gone? If A, let's go subset of B. That's not that exciting. Maybe it's too similar to less than. But if A is a subset of B and B is a subset of C, then A is a subset of C. If we're talking about sets, if A is a factor of B and B is a factor of C, then A is a factor of C. So this kind of general property. For relations, people sometimes write the symbol R for some relation to try and capture all of these descriptions of how things might be related. Hello, NIV LIW _ Good to see you. I'm not going to try and pronounce that as a word. We're the math stream. We're trying to draw a diagram for my lectures. It's going to be good. We're looking at small even numbers and the relationship. Let's do the whole graph with A arrow B. If A is a factor of B, but not equal. So that's a relationship. And in fact, it's transitive. That if A is a factor of B but not equal, and B is a factor of C but not equal, then A is a factor of C but not equal. We're trying to, the gimmick here is that I'm trying to draw this badly to hide the interesting way to lay this out. So where do I put 12 on this picture? This is fun already, I think. Some definition of fun. Because I would like 12 to come from 6 and 4 and 2. So I kind of want to put it here, don't I? I could draw these arrows crossing, but it's actually quite tempting to just move the 8 over here. And now I'm interested in the question of how far can I go until I have to have some arrows that cross. Welcome to Chill Maths. We're just sort of messing around really. So I can put 14, that's safe. 14 goes over here. 16 feels like it's going to be a problem. And these powers of 2 are becoming more and more of a problem. But I suppose that's quite far away, so that's all right. Maybe it'll run into bigger problems before then. Let's drag all of that over here, because I can put 16. So 16. 16 is a multiple of 2 and 4 and 8, and none of the other things. So 16 has to go up here. It's going quite well so far. Is that enough? Let's see. Can we put 18 on this picture somewhere? 18 is a multiple of 2. It's a multiple of 6. And nothing else that's on my board, because 18 is secretly playing the role of 9, and 9 just comes from 3 and 1 really. So let's put 18 down here. And then 20, 20 I've got a problem, because for 20 I want to join, yeah, it needs to be a multiple. Every time I put a new number on, it needs to be, I'm connecting things. Well, I shouldn't just say connecting, I'm drawing an arrow from anything that's a factor to that new thing. If I just say connecting, then I'm not saying which way around the arrow is, and this this relation doesn't have symmetry. We say that a relation is symmetric if A related to B implies that B is related to A, which isn't true for any of the ones that we've had so far. Arbitrary bra. It isn't true for any of the relationships we've thought about so far, but it is true for things like equality of numbers and if 2 sets are equal. No, I should come up with a more interesting one. If 2 people have got the same first name, if 2 people have got the same last letter of their last name, those are examples where it's symmetric. It feels quite different, so I'm trying to distinguish them. Right, I think I can put 20 down here somewhere, right? Because then, right, 20 is secretly like 10, which is just 2 times 5, so I should join it to the thing that's like 2 and the thing that's like 5. Mumble. I've got this multiple of 2, which I don't regret. Oh, I need to connect it to 2 as well, don't I? I'm only looking at even numbers. Everything's being doubled. Yes, thank you. Good thing I left that gap through there. Well, I'm going to keep going until I run into trouble. I haven't got into trouble yet. I've just hit a prime, so that's, well, not, a prime multiple of 11, so that's quite good. I think I might be about to run into trouble though. Where on earth am I going to put 24? Oh no, I'm not in trouble yet. Yeah, so how far can I go? So 24. I regret putting the 12 out here now. I kind of want to do, Myro does these, but only okay. I kind of want to put the 24 where it needs to be next to, many things. I might be in trouble now. I might be in trouble. So 24 wants to be next to many things. I'm going to move the 12 in. Move the 12 in a little bit, like this. I've now decided the 12 is quite a small number and should go in here, because I want 24 to be joined to all of these. Oh, and I want the 8 as well. It's looking tricky. It's looking tricky, chat. Yeah, the edges are allowed to cross each other. We're just doing it's just a graph, really. Like there's nothing mathematically incorrect about drawing this. Oh, and the 2. There's just something aesthetically incorrect. I've been doing so well at getting none of the lines to cross. I think my theory here is that that's impossible. That feels impossible now. It does look impossible to not have. Oh yeah, eventually I'm definitely going to have some lines crossing, I reckon. Yeah, what are the odds? And more things are being connected at 2. I suppose that's not enough on its own. I'm thinking about the powers of 2. They all have to get connected to each other by some. They're all so ascending powers of 2. Each one's connected to the ones that are larger than it. So you end up doing K5 there. Yeah, so we'll do 5 of these. Complete graph, right? Because anyone, you get the direction right. Anyone is a factor of all the others. So you get K5 eventually. I've got 4 things here, but if I try and put 32 on, I just really can't put 32 on, and that's because K5 can't be embedded as a planar graph. Yeah, there you go. So optimistic to think that I could get to 32. I can't get to infinity. Infinite large numbers. I'm not even convinced I can do this properly to get 24 on, because these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things are looking a lot like they might have an induced K5 subgraph. For example, no, struggling. It's just looking quite bad around there. Okay, I'm going to remove 24, and homework is going to be. Can I leave it as homework? That seems a bit weird. My claim, I think, is that just that bit of the graph is non-planar. Let's just copy out that little bit of graph, the 2, 4, 8 stuff, and separately the 6. Oh, I could draw this properly, couldn't I? 12, 24. Except you also need to draw these arrows and these arrows. Hang on a minute, I've seen this graph before. So that's connected to everything. Oh, that's not. These 2 are not connected, so it's not K33. There are two famous graphs that can't be embedded in the plane. One of them is K5, where you have 5 things and you join them all up pairwise. Not obvious, I think, but there's no way to draw that without 2 lines crossing. You can get a bit closer than what I've done if you draw some of the lines going outside, but you can't draw all of them. So I could draw that one going around the top, and then this one going around here, but then I'm a bit stuck trying to get that one around. And the other famous one is K33, which is called the utilities problem sometimes. You have 3 houses, and you want to connect them to 3 utilities, which are water, drop, gas, what's gas look like, and electricity, and you want to do the pipes or something, but you live in 2D, so they can't cross. And it's impossible. Classic problems, great. That wasn't very chill, was it? I was just referring to a classic maths problem really fast. Oh yeah, 4 and 24 should be connected. Thank you. So that's not quite K33. So actually, maybe it is good. Maybe it's fine, but in such a way that I can't get to 16. So what have we got? If I ignore the arrows for a moment, then I've got 6 points like this. Oh, hang about. If you ignore 6, then 2 of the other 5 all connected. The other 5 look like they might all be connected. No, 8 and 12. 8 and 12 still not connected. You don't go back that way. It's a good picture, isn't it? I like it quite a lot. Maybe this is planar. I should draw that one going around the outside for starters. That'll help me look at it. I think there's algorithms for planarity. I can't remember actually. Oh yeah, and then this one can come around the outside. I think we're in business. Okay, you can get a choice about which way around I want to go. Is that good? Have I done it? Have I drawn it without lines crossing? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? 2, 4, 8. They're all joined up. 8 has got its factors 4 and 2. 6 has got its factors just 2. 12 has got factors 2, 6, 4, 24. It's got factors 8, 4, 12, 6, 2. Looks good. RFL, I think. That's what we wanted. Right, can I get the rest of my picture in? Not obvious. 4 is a bit trapped in this. Quite seriously trapped. Thanks, chat. Yeah, I don't want to trap 4. I need the 4 for other stuff. And the 8. Okay. Let's not panic. Let's just go round the long way. We're done with these very large numbers, I think. If I'm trying to get up to 24. And then if I get to 24, I'll have 26 for free. I'll probably do 28 as well. 8. And then, right, so I've got to put all the other bits of the diagram in. I've got highlighter. I've done that one. I haven't got 18 on my picture either. 18's fine. I've got to get 16 in. 16's going to have to go over here, isn't it? Okay, that seems next in some sense. 22's fine. 22 can go in one of the little gaps, really small. 10 and 20 I'm not worried about either, because that bit, I'm a bit worried because I'm going to get 4. Okay. The 20 is going to have to go in this. The 20 is going to have to go in here, really small. 10 and 20, because I need to connect it to the 4 as well. Oops. 20, 10. This doesn't seem right. Yeah, what am I doing wrong? 20's got some more factors. Does it? Yes, 2. Nice. I think that's allowed. Putting the 10 and 20 in really small, connected to the 4. Have I got all the factors of 20? 2 squared times 5 hasn't got that many factors, especially if you insist they're even, because then you have 2 times this and nothing else, and 2 times 5, or 4 times 5. Yeah, good. Yeah, so we could do like more art. Mario's got this really hard limit of 400%, which is quite, otherwise I could keep going, right? Do more stuff. Well, no, as discussed, I'm stuck at 32. Can't do 32. Okay, so I need that bit in there, and then I'm good, I think, because then I haven't put 18 on 6. 18 can go near the 6. Oops, that's too thick now. With the pen, not. Good. 18, and then grand finale, just need things like 14, 22, 26, 28. Pushing my luck. I think we're good. Yeah, so this is kind of a little bit of another dimension. It's out in the 7 direction. This one's gone in the 5 direction. And so secretly there's often other dimensions, but we only explore a tiny bit in that way because we're only looking at small numbers. Oh, this is not a good picture. I kind of hate it. Why is there so much going on the right and not the left? It looks a little bit like the USS Enterprise. Happy Star Wars Day. Don't at me. Right. Twitch says unstable, and I think it means me. Right, what have we got? We've got a bit of a mess. He's going off in the 11 and 13 directions. I don't dislike it, actually. I don't dislike it. What's the load going on? Can I put 30 in? Surely not. 30 would need to be joined to all the 3 stuff and all the 5 stuff. And I put all the 3 stuff over here. I could put it over. No, surely not. Okay, so my new claim is 30 has got to break this. It just feels like it breaks it. Oh, it's turned into a maths problem now. We're a bit stuck. We're gonna have to do a maths problem. So, new claim, I think, is that a version of this picture, but going to 30 is impossible. 30 is the first time that I've got distinct, there's some 3s in there and some 5s in there. If I divide everything by 2, then I've got as far as 14, and I'm saying that 15 is the problem, and that's where you get 3 and 5. So let's have a look at the graph that would go out to 30. Again, only even numbers, which... I suppose actually, I don't go out that way at all. To get to 30, I only have to go out in the 3's direction and the 5's direction. This is the stupidest picture I've ever drawn. There we go. That seemed quite possible. Well, the problem is I've got all the rest of this diagram around as well, getting in the way, which, if I just had 10 and 6, then sure, I would put the 10 next to the 6. The problem is that I've got to connect everything else in as well. Like things like 12. Oh no. So I think the 4 and 12 are getting in the way. I'm trying to draw a subset of this and demonstrate that the subset can't be drawn in a planar way. Okay, let's put in the 4 and 12 bit. Is that a problem on its own? I think it's not a problem on its own. Because if it was just the 4 and 12 stuff, you could do this. Going in the 2 direction, and that is the 2 direction, and it goes around like that. If it were just about the 12, where does that go in my picture? Can I just do that? Well, not really, because I had this 20, well no, the 20 would now go over here. Oh no, it feels like I'm just redrawing it and it's going to be fine, which then I'll have to keep going. Oh, then I'm about to hit 32, which would be a nice result. What are we doing? We've gone back to 3D. Yeah, well, yeah. Let's keep. That'd be a good result if it was 32, because it would be the 2, 4, 8, 16, 32 K5 connection that's bad. It's sort of obvious where you can't do that in some sense. You know, obvious if you know the K5 fact and you just saw me. I shouldn't say it's obvious because it's taken me ages. You saw 10 minutes ago me thinking about it. Maybe no one should ever describe anything as obvious. This graph is awful. It's a judgment call, but I think this is awful. Can I get 30 in there as well then? It's feeling like maybe I can. I'm not seeing the kind of problems that you might get. So I've put 20 over here somewhere. I've still got space for all these little things that don't really interact with each other. Have I still got space for my little 18? Yes, I do. I can put the 8, 24 stuff up here. 2, 6, 12, 8, 24. Oh, I can't do the 16 anymore. This is becoming a problem. It's becoming a problem. The 24 needs to go. Can I put the 8 and the 16 inside one of these triangles? No, and it can't put the 24. So what's the problem then? Am I struggling with getting this together? Okay, that felt all right. That's not a problem. Remove that. I liked this kind of cube thing that was going on. What's the problem when you get to 30? You can get close. Close-ish. This section up here was almost bad. So oh, 6 and No, 6 and 4 I wanted to say are now connected in a non-trivial way. No, they're not. 6, 30, 10, 24. Yes, they are. 6 and 4 are now connected in this weird way. So we already had connections like this between, out of these 6, we already had connections from, highlighter time, we already had connections from these 3 to almost all of these 3. So 2 is obviously connected to everything. I haven't drawn the 2 to 24 line in yet. 4 was connected to 12 and 24. 8 was connected to almost everything. Not quite everything. I really thought I had K33 there. I'm close to doing this, I think. Because the observation is that now 30 provides you this extra path that you have to fit in that connects around some other direction to get to 4. So you're trying to find a path following 10 and 20 to get around to 4. And maybe if I find a different path that shows you have to be able to get from 12 to 8, 2 to 20. Yeah. Oh, so maybe I flipped it looking at 20. Yeah, I should draw in an arrow, shouldn't I? You're right. I'm trying to think about which. If I can find 6 things that are... What do I want? Connected by different paths, such that the paths don't share any edges, then those paths would be a solution to the utility problem, but the utility problem is impossible. Yeah, so I've got to fit quite a lot of things in, including, you're right, things that go like this. How can I do this? Flip 4 and 12? Flip 4 and 12. Does that work? 8's not really connected to anything. It's not really an interesting part of this utility problem. Oh, it'll be connected to 2 things. 8 and 12. Yeah, I can use these paths. These paths are part of the problem. So I can use these paths to say, you've got these 6 things, you're trying to draw via, so subsets of the graph. I need to choose 6 subsets of the graph, either a single arrow or a combination of arrows, but they've got 6 disjoint parts of the graph that try and connect all of these things. So the 6 to 24 arrow is really relevant. Oh, have I got 20 on here twice? I think that might be 30 down there. And this is 10. Handwriting fix. Okay, so 2 is supposed to be connected to 24. There we go. So obviously 2 has arrows that join things to 24. I'm going to highlight those in green just to say, look at these arrows. Not that one, this one. So this is a path that must exist that gets from the 2 nodes to each of these nodes. And then separately, there must be a path from 4 to 12 directly, to 24 directly, and via 20. Wherever you draw these arrows, one of them's not even an arrow, wherever you draw these arrows, you must be joining 4 via those arrows, okay, forwards and backwards and stuff. But if you fit them into the planar picture somewhere, they give you a way of going from 4 round to 6. You go all the way around here. And it's directly connected to 12 and 24 with arrows. You just draw a single arrow. And then 8, this one's going to be a little bit harder. I'm so close. Right, okay. We can do this. 8 is connected to 24 directly. You've got to draw that one. It's also connected to 2. Look up here. So 4, 16, 2. I'm trying to find roots through here, right? To explain why drawing these arrows is a bit like trying to draw in that last bit of the utility problem to connect 8 to 12. So I just need to find a series of arrows I haven't used yet. Like, so I haven't used this one or that one. I have used the 1020 stuff as part of my explanation so far. And then this comes round, I suppose. 2 is connected to everything, so 2 is connected to 24. I've already used that as part of my reasoning. Two's connected in a weird way via 18. 2's connected in a weird way to 24, like that. That's a reason, or I feel like that was better as a reason for why it's connected to why it's connected to 24. I should use this route like that. Okay, so that's my explanation of a path that you would have to draw that gets you from 8 to 24. That was the easy one. 8 to 24 is the one I've got. 8 to 12, like this. So those arrows, when you draw them, forwards and backwards or whatever, they form a path that has to get you from 8, the third house in my analogy, to utility in the middle there. And then finally, I haven't used piece de resistance. Let's go. I haven't used this arrow from 8 to 4. I haven't used this arrow from 4 to 2, or this arrow. Oh no, I have used the one from 2 to 6. No. Anyway, oh, no. Rats. Piece de resistance, no. How do you get from 8 to 6? Without using any of the arrows I've already used. It's hard, there's not much pointing to 6. We were almost there. Reasons why these are connected. Flip the roles. Flip the roles. Something I was considering a second ago. Let's remove. Considering a second ago is. I think Mara's got a feature. Can I select? No. Select. No. Some tools let you select by type. I was hoping I could just get rid of the highlighting. The highlighting is really wide. It's easy to delete. So I was wondering whether I could switch the colours of these two. See if I can rerun the proof. Why is that now orange? It's definitely yellow a moment ago. No, it's a different sort of yellow. What's going on? Okay. Okay, take 2. So now what's my task? Not to connect 4 to 6 anymore, and not to connect 8 to 12. So I can colour them differently. It's a different K33. So some of these arrows are a bit more useful now. I'm interested in this arrow, and I'll use the direct ones first, and this arrow, and yellow goes to red around here. So 2 is connected to these 3 red things. I'm going to try and convince you that the yellow things are connected to 3 red things as well. Oh, this is a bit easier. There you go. 12 definitely is, and 8's already connected to 2 of them. And I haven't yet used the fact that 8 is connected to 16, or even used the fact that it's directly connected to 2. I just need to get to a reason why 8's connected to 6. Here we go. 8's. Oh, this diagram up here doesn't have 8 connected to 2. That's quite awkward. That's awkward. We'll come back to that in a second. 8's connected to 2. 8's connected to 2. And then 10 up around like this. So let's change colour on that particular one because it's quite hard to see and quite important. It comes in like this, it goes out here and up here. So your task is to take these 3 red points, these 3 yellow points, and connect each one pairwise. And the presence of this number 30 gives me this extra path that you must draw that connects 8 to 6 in a way that doesn't use any of your previous lines. But what you're being instructed to do there is precisely to take 3 things, connect 3 other things, and connect them all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines already. So far planar between each of these, each of those, not yet round, each of these, like that. But then the 9th one in, aha! So the 9th one in there is too much because you can't draw all 9 lines from 3 houses and 3 utilities. Oh, I dismissed that earlier as a kind of like, oh, high-speed popular maths thing, but it's actually been relevant to this problem now. So there you go. Just goes to show, if you know a few maths problems and you can reduce it down to one you've seen before. There we go. Good. Right. Open question. Was it already impossible? So 30, definitely not okay. 32, we decided was not okay. Open question for me. I hadn't connected it to 8. So maybe... Oh, there's missing arrow. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I may have panicked too much. I can just put in the 2 to 8 line going around the top, I think. Let's say... Probably what I should do next is check that I now have all of the lines in this picture. So this will be a successful connection for numbers up to 28, and this would be a proof that it fails for 30. Here we have ha. Just for the confusion. I can't remember if I've added that recently. Most of the emotes are now quite negative. What have we got? We've got oh no, there's a mix. There's a mix. We've got oh no, ha, and then on the good side, wow, and RFL for when we've done a thing. RFL is the one that we celebrate. It's from the natural number game. Yes, good. Yeah, there should be a line connecting 2 to 8 like this. Oh, is this what that is? That long one around the outside? Oh, okay, it was all fine. Ah, thank you. Not only was I wrong to suggest that it wasn't possible, I was wrong to suggest I hadn't already done it. Goes to show. Thank you, Mean Machine Rex. I can make it, turn it back into the USS Enterprise. Good, okay. So, not planar. Right, okay. We got diverted there a little bit by asking the question of how much of this can you draw until you're forced to have some arrows crossing. Turns out the answer is up to 30. Or 15 if you divide everything by 2, which is an option available to you. Separate question, how much of this do I want to put in a diagram for a lecture note? Probably not all of this. Probably not all of this, because that's quite bad. Oh, and also it's got, over here it's got a bit of the kind of correct lattice structure, which I would like to hide. So maybe I go to 16. 16 feels like a nice place to stop. Let's take the version for 16 and try and make it look really aesthetic. I think that seems like a fun task. So task up here, draw the whole graph for small even numbers, and small is now going to mean up to 16, I think. Yeah, I might keep 18. I'll sort of erase. 24 seems to be where it all went wrong. So I think I'm definitely going to erase 24. I'm going to hack down a subset just for not all went wrong. We just proved it all went wrong at 30. But so 24. So I'll get rid of these larger numbers. 6, 8, and how much do I like this? I'm not sure 22 is bringing much to the party. At the moment, 2 is connected to, well, let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 things, which makes sense. There are 10 things around there. Maybe I only want 8. 8 would be nice. Okay, so if I have these 8 things, then a nice way to arrange 8 things would be to put them around. So what order would I go? It also gives me options on this, ways to connect this 8 back in. There's just other ways to do this. Ah, beeping noise. It's probably fine. Let's bring this 10 out. So what's a nice way to arrange this to make everything look good? It's a good question, isn't it? Well, no, it's a terrible question. It's not maths at all, but it's quite chill. If you draw one, also, I think the corresponding thing is you're drawing the same graphs as me, but everything is divided by 2. So I think you can get to 15, and it breaks at 15. And then 12 is very, very tricky, like that 24 picture we just did. Okay, good puzzles. Right. Make a shirt how to fit on point elaborates. Right, okay. I found out it's dramatically easy to set up a thing for shirts, like t-shirts. So if I'm going to make myself some t-shirts, which is the plan, maybe not immediately, but the plan is that I'm making myself some maths t-shirts based on stuff that we've done. It's like almost the same amount of work to just put them on my website, but it's going to look quite silly. Most maths people don't have a section of their website labelled merch. Some might say that would look corporate and silly. Yeah, it's just almost trivially easy to set up a kind of. I mean, you could do like a horrible dropship thing. I mean, I imagine it's always trivially easy to set up. Like, if I want to get a t-shirt, here's a link to get the t-shirt. The internet has just really solved that problem. Commerce. I think if I do it, it'll be I'll find a way to highlight how ridiculous I think it would be, but also. I don't want to look like a sellout, right? He says, looking at an hour of drawing graphs on Miro streamed on Twitch. Not look like a sellout. Steve from Wolfram has done some pretty commercial things. Rice. What's the right way to do it? It's kind of in that order, isn't it? I'm worried about that 8. I'm worried it's too strong. Oh, I can move the 8 over here. I had a version like this earlier, I think. But if I move the 8 over here, then I get a bit happier. Is that good? That's still connected to all the right things? Oh, I need 2 to go to 16 still. A bit happier, but not great. Maybe that's a kind of... Oh, and I've reconstructed. So I've got multiples of 3 going over here. Yeah. I think I'm going to have to go and deal with that beeping noise in a minute. I don't know if you can hear it. Sorry if you can. Straight lines only is looking like quite a challenge. It'd be nice if it were straight lines only. Oh yeah, just move everything around and it will be fine. Move everything around and it'll be kind of fine. This bit's going to be a bit tricky because this is 4 things. But just put 8 like in the middle. So let's do that bit first. Not an equilateral triangle, but something like that. Something like that. Arrow, arrow, arrow. Arrow, point at the large number, arrow, arrow. And then we've got the 12, 6, 18 structure. That could come round here. So this is like 3 things. And then 12, 6, 18 is like 3 more things. Bit surprised that the 6 only needs to connect to, well, 2 times 6 and 3 times 6, because 4 times 6 I've decided is too large for my picture. Oh, this is going to be lovely. And then there's just some bits over here. So is this going to be sort of hexagon shaped? Maybe I do want 20. 20 would have to connect to 4. It's not quite hexagon shaped, is it? Because I've got 7 things because I put 8 in a strange place. It's just not quite aesthetic enough, is it? Can do better. Ah, no, it looks weird, which I'll take. 2, 4, 6, 8. Comes back to the 4s. 10 is over here. 12 over here. 14. Yep, 12 because 6, 4. I guess secretly just 2 and 3 makes 6. There's the cue ball. Where's this pool table? I can't see it. After sort of hitting the 8 ball or something, are you doing pool? It goes in here. I see. And then you've got like 6 things around it. I've kind of got 7 things around. No one remembers Meteor Man. Right. I do want to see what Math222 is doing with these Desmos multi-dimensional images, because what if they dropped Desmos 4D while I've been away? That'd be good. So I do want to see what's going on there. So I could do one not straight line, because what I'm considering is doing cardinal directions. One not straight line. Or one cross. What's better? 8, 16. Get a cross across the middle. Or if you do 8 and 16, you could have a kind of around the outside. I think I prefer around the outside. Oh no. No, I've messed everything up. I've messed everything up. Just push the 8 outside and then get 2 crosses. I said cardinal directions as well. Okay, I'm gonna draw this up. I think maybe after the tea break. 10 on the left, 14, 18, 6, and then draw like this. Okay, and then 4 goes to 8, 8 goes to 16. This goes in both of these. Annoyingly, 4 also goes to 16. 2 goes into 14, 2 goes into 18, 6 goes into 18, 6 goes into 12. I've thought of a new phrase. 4 goes into 12. That's not bad, because then you've got these like 8 spokes and this weird pattern going around the outside. 4 goes to 8 goes to 16, 4 goes to 12, 6 goes to 12. I'm going to make it look a bit more like, but then it's broken up bigger here. And around there's an extra line around the outside as you start to get into these higher powers of 2. And 32 would be a huge problem because it would be connected to all of them. Okay, not bad. Next challenge is to try and recreate that in ticks, I think. So I can do it with straight lines if I move the 8 down. Maybe that's worth remembering. Like this. So this could still be at 45-degree angles, but this could just come in quite a lot. Okay. After the tea break, let's make a start. Let's make a start. I have set up ticks, which is a way to typeset nice diagrams, and also terrible diagrams. But you know, it does both. So let's set that up so that it's actually successful. So I want quite a lot of these. And they are the numbers 4. So should we go in order? 4, 8, 16, and then 10, 14, 18, 6, and finally 12. Hey, it's tea time. And these are going to be 12, 6. See if I can remember the notation for this and how to type 1. Let's see if I can remember. I had to look this up on Stack Overflow just to get this far, because I don't want them all to the right. I want this above right. I want this above. Where have I started? On this. So I want 4 in my current version is above right. If I just render this, then it will put all of them on top of each other on the right. Ugh, terrible. So I want this like above, and then this I think I'd just say above left. The thing I can never remember with ticks is this syntax which says above equals of. Isn't that amazing? So the 10 goes on the left, Then I think you say below left equals of, and then below, and then below right, and then finally right. So that should spread more out like that. I think that looks quite nice. Can you stack it twice? No. I think that looks quite nice. Bring these in a bit. So this is something. Yeah, there we go. And then just join it all up. I don't really know how to do paths, so I'm just going to do one at a time, which is silly, but you know. 4, 8, 16, 10, 16. Ooh, that's fun. If you type 16 wrong, you get 49, which is a different square. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. Don't get distracted. I wonder which squares, because 1 and 4 are stacked together as well, so that's nice. If you move your fingers by 1 on the keypad from 1 and 6, you get 4 and 9. So what else can I do? 81. Oh, it's gone. Oh, but I can't go off the 8. I could wrap round. Are there any other ones, including wrap rounds, where I could go sideways as well? That'd be nice. So 64. No, I don't think there's going to be many of those. 4, 8, 16, 10, 14, 18, 6, 12. I should put all the spokes in. Lovely. And then I'd like some. I think you can do this more cleverly by. For example, I think you can go to edge 8, edge 16. Does that work? No. Okay. Stop being clever. It's not working. I can put in extra ones like 4 to 8, and then the complicated one is going to be teaching this how to put in the long path that goes around the outside of my diagram to get to 16. So 6 is supposed to be connected to 12, 6 is supposed to be connected to 18, and that makes the picture look like that. We're getting there. We've got the outside bit. I haven't got 8 going to 16 yet. Not 18, 16. And we'll just put in for now that this 4 going to 16 as a kind of straight line across the top. But I want to try and make that go around the outside. So yeah, good. I do give Kit Kats to students. Who have you been talking to? We did an experiment. Well, not quite an experiment because you have to get ethical approval for those things. But I did a sort of experiment where I gave them different biscuits until they told me anything positive about the biscuits, which happened quite quickly because it was Kit Kats first. And they said, oh yeah, thanks for the Kit Kats. So then it was Kit Kats forever. Did I say that? Oh, right, okay, good. Oh, because we were talking about biscuits. I thought, why are we talking about biscuits? But we were talking about biscuits because somebody comes along to the Thursday show and names themselves after biscuits. So that's the thing. Let's stick this in this file for kind of relation diagram. That's its name. And that's not looking terrible. Maybe not quite as mad as I wanted. Maybe I will put 24 on. Oh, the 24 version was hard though. Okay, right, I'm going to take a break for a cup of tea. I'm going to go and put the kettle on. While I'm doing that, you might see an advert, depending on how Twitch works. If you see an advert, then that is very slowly ticking up a counter, which when Twitch say the counter has got large enough, some cash goes to charity. Which means in some very loose sense, we might eventually be supporting charity. I'm going to run the outbreak anyway because that's what we do, and I'll be back with a cup of tea. You're welcome to make a cup of tea as well, I suppose. Cool. See you back here. How do I actually do this? I think I remember. I have to mute. I have to do the back soon. I have to do the app. I have to press 3 buttons. 1, 2, 3. I'm back, hooray! What have you got? You've got adverts. Oh my goodness, there's loads of chat going on. Electric cars, that's pretty good. Yes, great. Okay. Right. I found out they're making another movie. Let's talk about movies to time it in chat. They're making another Now You See Me movie, and they've given it the correct name, which is great news, because I don't know if people are aware, but there was a movie called Now You See Me about magicians, and they made a sequel, and they did not call it Now You Don't, which would have been the best title ever. You'd see it on a bus or something, it would say Now You Don't, and you'd see it and you'd think, why is your movie called Now You Don't? And then you'd remember that, well, you'd see the characters and you'd, oh right, okay, it's the second half of the film should just be called Now You Don't. Like the Mamma Mia sequel, they got this correct when they called the sequel Here We Go Again. Also, that just makes more sense as a sequel name, but never mind. So they should have done Now You Don't as the sequel name. They're making a third after about 10 years. They're making a third, and they haven't quite got it because they're calling it Now You See Me : Now You Don't, which is like explaining the whole joke or something. But never mind. Still, some chance to right the wrongs, right? The one in between was called Now You See Me 2. The real lack of creativity, lack of embracing the non-traditional sequel titling. You can complain about ads. Everyone complains about ads. I complain about ads. Right. What is this? This is multi-dimensional image. Let's give this a go. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's this. You're doing this. It is so. It's a Desmos version of this, right? Except it's got a ticker going for some reason. Is this what's over there? So is this starting at 1 or something? And drawing all of the arrows? I don't like the way that's moving. Whenever I'm not looking at it, the numbers move. This is great. Ooh, the numbers do sometimes move on my screen. Let's scroll and then wait. One of them will just. For extending my Desmos into a horror game. No, they've put a thing on top of the letter B. That's ridiculous. What? Twitch has helpfully labelled that as possible ban evader brackets monitoring. Like, could you monitor the situation harder, please? Oh yeah, sorry. This is Math2 to do. I just copied the thing from chat earlier. It was during the outbreak, I think, but I just copied the thing from chat. Good. Right. Okay. We've got all the numbers in. Look, but you can sort of see parts of the cube structure if you relax your eyes. If you forget about the 11 direction over here, the higher dimensional stuff. Down here, you can see it building these kind of squares, right, and parallelograms. So is this using? Are you choosing just a different direction for each prime, and just go through it, right? So you get these parallel lines. That'd be good. Okay. Oh, is it? What's it minimizing? No. Oh, don't tell me it's minimizing a thing. Oh my goodness, I don't know what it's done. It's got some question marks. Do I run this? Oh yeah, nice. Okay. I don't know what it did, but it did something. Let's open this for fun. Yep. Cool. Oh, so these are your arrow settings. I can understand that, can't I? You made this live in the last while. I've been messing around just drawing that from the Desmos version. I'm gonna pull random sliders around until I break it. I haven't broken it yet. So sort of, what's it optimizing? Oh right, okay, let's read this. You need to click the second line after changing N. Oh right, okay. So it's updating it. Oh, that is quite nice. Oh, that is quite nice. So I click that one. So it chucks them out. Is it chucking them in random directions or something? And then optimizing something to sort it out. Oh, that is quite good. I have no idea what you're doing really, but or how you're doing it, but I'm gonna keep playing with it. So I think what I'm looking at is I press this one, B goes to F of A, and the picture's a mess. Let's got all the arrows in. And then it's minimizing the distance between, like the total distance? Well, no, because something's fixed, right? Otherwise it would just bring everything in towards the origin. Something. Is there a built-in Desmos thing that's going on? Or is this like extremely clever gradient descent stuff? No. It has a distance function, that's a good start. What is this? Okay, I regret opening this, obviously. Yeah, the even ones. There's some things need to go on top of each other, but maybe it's just the dots moving around. Okay. Whee! Oh, I've made your arrows. It's me messing up the arrows. Oh, if I set it to 0, I get that style of arrow. Good. Otherwise, it's just for drawing. Okay, great. So what's it? How's it minimizing? I haven't understood that at all. Oh, my computer doesn't like this one. Goodbye, Twitch. Bye. Ah. I think it's going to become harmonious. Oh, it is using gradient descent. Hooray. So that's what I was looking for. And I saw a line with cosec in, but I think that was actually so you're telling me that was trig for arrows or something. So what then it's doing? So the objective function is some sort of combination of all of the lengths. It's doing something. Because it's not just bringing everything in towards the origin, which would minimize lengths in a sort of daft way. It's somehow exploring interesting space. Total magnitude. Okay. It's constrained gradient descent. You know. I sort of regret 100, but it is doing something. Look, it's worked out. It's found these. So it's found these three. These go together, sort of. Multiples of 31. So you've got 100-dimensional gradient descent working in Desmos. Good job. Oh yeah, some structure. Some structure forming in here, right? Was the structure always there? When you initialize it, is it random? I don't know if I should look in things. Maybe I should look in things where it's always F. Just plain F. Oh, it's this. So F's putting them on. Well, no, I need to know what X is, don't I? And why is there a factor of 1 plus root 5 in there? The structure magically appears. There you go. Let's go down to 24. So it's got question marks because it's confused. Oh, is it starting? What is it doing? It's not starting at random. I've just found this spiral of 3s. But what is going on here? You're starting them on this kind of like Archimedean spiral or something. Yeah, it's a golden spiral. Is that why? No, not. There's a root 5 in there for golden ratio reasons, isn't there? You put the numbers on the golden spirals. Did we talk about that at one point? No, I'm not sure we did. Oh yeah, dots spinning around, golden spiral stuff. Pretty much random, but also yeah, that's interesting anyway. I see. So you've got an angle. I'm just trying to understand your first line, right? Golden spirals, yeah. Okay. The golden spiral is already nice because it picks out multiples of 3, I think. Arithmetic progressions will become not geometric progressions. That's not right. Will be on spirals. Yeah. So arithmetic progressions will have a different rate up here, but otherwise there'll be a different version of this different version of the spiral. So not a golden spiral, but different logarithmic spirals. I think that's true. I think that's true. But I'm not very confident. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, so it's sort of stepping around the same angle each time. What do this raise? Yeah, okay, cool. There's really those multiples of 3 going out there. Really nice. So if I go to 27, I sort of predict it will be up pointing on the screen. 27 will be up here somewhere, right? Yeah, good. Okay, multiples of 3 look nice on these spirals. What's this then? Oh, so there's other multiples of 3. It's a 3-arm spiral. It's shifted by 1 because that's just a rotation. So you've got the multiples of 3 out here. You've got things that are 2 mod 3 going out that way, and you've got things that are 1 mod 3 coming on this spiral around here. They're just spirals. And then you do gradient descent, and it sorts itself, instead of this spirally pattern, it sorts itself out into the lattice structure. It knows that it wants to point them in the same direction. This is a sort of triangle inequality thing. So there's maybe, not sure, but maybe, if you just have 3 points, why is it forming structures like these? I now see. So when I first saw that, I thought you'd put it in as like the directions from the first way we drew it. But now I see that maybe, so if I just have triangle inequality, when do you get the triangle inequality? When you have 2 different primes. So I need to look at 2s and 3s and go to 6, you get this kind of triangle stuff. And so you get this kind of triangles forming, and you want those triangles, possibly depending on what you're optimizing, you want those triangles to have 0 area, because for a given, what are we looking at? What does that do? So sometimes, yeah, there's some benefit to having 2 of the sides add up to the same as the 3rd. You've now done all the random points. Yeah. It should. The golden ratio is nice and a good distraction, but it should gradient descent from anywhere. It knows that 1, 2, 4 triangle. It wanted to close that one up. That's weird to me. It's also weird that it's moved 1. But you know, why not? Why aren't all the points running away? They could all move. Maybe it keeps the centre of mass constrained as well. There's a degree of freedom for where it is, and then it can still spin around. I don't know how you've done the gradient descent stuff at all. It's a case of moving it afterwards. Amazing. Right, well done. Good stuff. I'm very impressed. This Twitch community, look at this. Right, well, I'm going to go back to drawing my little straight arrows over here. I'm going to try and work out by Googling how to get an edge to go around the outside. I'm horrified that it might be a kind of arc thing, which I'm not good at, because nobody is. That's not fair, some people probably are. The trick is to work out what you want. So can I do like an arc? If I just put in arc here, it may be amazing if that just worked. Yeah, of course not. We're going to turn that down because there's going to be a lot of not working going on here. So what do I want? I want to do a search for ticks, node diagram, curve, edge. I used to know this. No, that's not true. I've known this briefly sometimes and briefly not. Yeah, okay, so I've known this for as long as it takes to copy it off Stack Exchange. And then as soon as it starts working, I lose interest. Ben right. Yeah, but Ben very right. This Stack Overflow person doesn't have like more. Oh, yeah, okay. No, there is more. There is an option for more. You can do something like that. I'll go around the top. There you go, and then I'm lose interest because now it's done the thing. So I'm never going to learn how to do that because I'm just going to look it up every time. And who knows, maybe AI will learn to do it instead of me. Just send these point closest. It's kind of work. Although just sending it closest to, if you look at its connections and find the mean and move it towards the mean, then I think you do tend to get a shrinking effect as well. This is like the pursuit problems, like the problems with the dogs chasing each other, right? My desktop background. If you just move towards the average of everything else, then the average of some of the other things, then you tend to get inward motion. Okay, I think we've got, that is probably the best thing we've done, isn't it? Maybe it should be a t-shirt or a hoodie. Gosh, I should not launch a merch store. That would be very silly. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 I'm happy with. 14 I'm happy with. 16, 18. Yeah, and then we didn't put 20 in this picture, but we could have been less. No. Could have if we'd been less scared. Yeah, brilliant. Let's do NFTs. Great idea. Mean machine regs. Thanks for bringing it. I mean, it's maths, right? Sort of, because of cryptography, maybe. I don't know. Not very keen. It's a very direct way, which we saw with converting attention into money, and yeah, I sort of think maybe I wanted to do what I wanted. I didn't even pitch this to the department, but I wanted the maths department to do NFTs for integers on April Fool's Day. So it would be a kind of like auction site. It would look awful, I think. It would be an auction site with we claim all of the integers, kind of endorsed by Oxford for the kind of credibility factor, and Oxford would auction NFTs on the integers, except because April Fools, no actual auctions, no actual NFTs. Just if you engage with it, eventually it says April Fools, and then possibly says, why not give your money to charity or something? I don't know. I didn't think through to the kind of punchline of this incredible April Fool's prank. But the joke would be, because then some of them, this is the whole thing, right? Because of some of them, you would put the listing up and you would say, this one's prime. Does that make it worth more or something? You could have all sorts of theories. There are loads of numbers. The cryptographic strings are just sort of accountable, so they're just numbers. So why not cut out the middle person and just start raffling off the integers? I just want to be really clear in case this is clipped, although I suppose this won't help. This was a suggestion for an April Fool's prank that I didn't even suggest to anybody. I realised that it was too stupid even for an April Fool's joke, and also quite a lot of work. But this was in the bit where the whole thing is just trading on credibility. If you have some credibility, you can exchange that for money. At the end of it, you'll have less credibility, but possibly money instead. So University of Oxford has lots of credibility and could waste some of it by saying, "Woo, buy an integer." You know, same as planets, right, or bits of the moon. Wait, maybe this is a good idea. Maybe if we sold like. Maybe it's more like adopting a gorilla. People are more happy with that. Maybe it's like adopt an integer, and you post some cash to Oxford, and we say, "Oh, you've got integer number 42,069 or something," and then maybe you can resell it. I don't really care. Good. We saw nothing. Got some Prime Teacher with Factors hoodie on top. Wow. Get them all. Yeah, brilliant. We're gonna get into all of the things now. We're gonna go full commercial. That'll be the switch. We'll just change one letter. It'll be Shill Maths. um, for selling merchandise. Right, good. Okay, good diagram. I like it. That's going in some lecture notes, maybe. Can I put the little self loops on? Oh, I don't know. What do the self loops look like? Is this even? I don't really want to learn how path works, but will it do a little self loop? Oh, I guess it's done the stupidest self loop possible. It's just drawn on top of the 8. Right, that's put me off the idea. Right. Might do the adopt a gorilla thing, that's not stupid. If we're talking about that sort of thing, what am I going to do? I'm going to try and find the thing that I'm excited about at the moment. See if I can get there in not too many clicks. Yes. This is the thing that I'm excited about at the moment. And it's related to this chart. Let me tell you the story. Ever since I've been doing outreach with Oxford, the outreach team has been just 2 people. Recently, I've got permission to go to 4 people, to double the size of my team. So I'm going to have new people doing maths outreach, and who knows, this chart has interesting possibilities for the future. So first step is we go from 2 people to 4 people, I guess. I'm probably joking about that. So we have a job post that I'm excited about, which means that this is public knowledge, so I'm allowed to talk about it. We're hiring someone to work with Key Stage 4 students to do bonus stuff for GCSE mentoring. So people doing GCSE maths or something like that. It's going to be really good. It's a new project, and I get to hire new people. It's going to be brilliant. Probably looking for people who have got experience doing Key Stage 4 material, or at least we've got proven experience of designing stuff and evaluation of such, because that's what this person's going to be working on, to help us write some interesting material so that you can show it to GCSE students and convince them that maths is a bit more interesting than GCSE. But even if they're good at GCSE, that there's more going on. There's quite a lot out there already, of course, about doing extra math stuff. But we think we can do something that's mentoring, supported with mentoring, and in a kind of Oxford style. So we're going to find out. So it's been taking up quite a lot of my time at the moment that we're hiring, which is a whole thing. But it's really exciting because we're going to get quite a lot more going on. We pay money for jobs. It's a pretty good deal, really. Right, okay. What do I want to do with this? I kind of actually don't like this very much. That 90 was a bit much. Let's tune that down a little bit so it only just misses the 8. You see, that's all right, but I want to do some of the optimization, right? I kind of wish there were more equilateral triangles. That's such a dangerous thing to say. That way lies madness, I think, because it's really not a hexagon. It's really not close to being a hexagon. I mean, it's got far too many sides to be a hexagon. But what if? But what if? But what if? Yeah, I just don't want to place, because this was so convenient that changing it to be manual placement of the nodes would be really awkward. I don't know the language for 60 degrees above. 60 degrees top right or something? That probably is. I've got positioning on, right? Probably is a feature. And also I've got too many of them. So what am I talking about? Yeah, let's leave it. That seems good. Okay. Right, nice. Thanks for helping me with this diagram. Interesting result with the gradient descent then there. I'm going to have to think about that. Although mostly I'm impressed with gradient descent running in Desmos. I can try and find out what you're minimizing and what you're keeping fixed. That'll be good. Good. Right, what next? What are we up to? I've showed off that I'm allowed to do some hiring. I've got a cup of tea. I'm happy. What does napkins mean? No. Yeah, I mean, there was the big napkin textbook. I haven't finished Hatcher's topology, so I think I might do some more topology. Let's get that up, so it's an option at least. Let's look at the image as well, just together. There, whoa, what a lovely image. Oh no, does it want to do an update? Please don't do an update. It always wants to do updates. Oh my goodness. Oh no, okay, it doesn't want to do an update. It's decided not to. It's good of it. It does want to do a lot of syncing though. This is trying to connect a textbook to a screen. Why would that be hard? That sounds easy. Everybody famously loves connecting textbooks to things. Let's go like that. And then that should give me a thing that I can put on here. Okay, it's this again. Here it is. Whee. I can't remember what we were doing, and it was about a month ago. So do I remember what was going on? No, not at all. Let's see what that's like. So this seems to be chapter 5, classification of quadratic forms, which looks quite hard. I sort of felt like we were very keen to get on to chapters 4 and 5, and then we got to chapters 4 and 5. And they also told us to look at the future chapters. Let's see what's going on. So things like Pell's equation. And we had these separator lines, I remember now. We thought about walking through this binary tree, looking at what we could find. This was the bit where it started saying things are proved in the next chapter. Okay, yeah, so we're still trying to work out why. I think we're still trying to work out why roots of quadratics have repeating continued fractions and vice versa. Yeah, I wouldn't get to chapter 5 for ages, and then we did, because we sort of did a bit of a speed run through chapter 4. What's this? Well, this looks good. I don't remember doing this at all. What even is this? Oh, bother. There's the next chapter again. Oh, right, okay. So things about whether or not it's got a periodic separator line. It's coming back to me. So these things where this is, where's this a line? Oh, and there was lots of stuff to think about, like the minimum number it would take, and whether if you drew arrows coming out of a point, whether there'd be a single point, right, 0 or something. What's going on? Okay, welcome back. It's James trying to understand the textbook, except after a month off, James has forgotten entirely everything. Good. Here we are. Yeah, I'm going left a lot. What is this? Okay, so if I've got all the way back to the definition of a separator line, which is this red thing down the middle, which separates off positive values and negative values of Q. I sort of remember this now. There's some periodicity. Right, because the numbers are bounded. I remember there's a proof somewhere, possibly chapter 5, there's a proof that the numbers you see along the separator line are bounded, and so the thing has to be periodic, it has to keep repeating. Right, and yeah, section 5.1, we prove it's periodic, and the proof is based on the fact that it's bounded, I think. We will see that. Which then is going to be all about roots of quadratics in the end, isn't it? Because if P over Q satisfies a quadratic equation, then multiply through by Q squared, and you have what do you have? You have some points PQ where that's positive and some points where it's negative, because you've got some roots of your quadratic, and either in between or outside, the thing's going to be positive or negative, or vice versa. So that's all going to be connected, right? Because then you'll have a separator line. If quadratic forms have periodic separator lines, then you get periodic one. So then read off the continued fraction, something like that. Let's go back into 5. Right, okay. Proof will involve associating a quadratic form to each quadratic irrational. Not officially complete until we've done that. Okay, so I think this is the thing about, for each quadratic irrational that's the root of a quadratic, we're going to have a number P over Q satisfying a quadratic, and we've got to find a quadratic form, which I think is just going to be multiplied through by Q squared or something, but yeah, something like that. Okay, so is this the bit with the bound? No, what's this? Right, this is about walking towards the top of the graph. We will show that these two has a periodic separation line. So then theorem 5.2 is the exciting one, where you set up the bounds, I think. Right, so lemma 4.2, here we are. This is the thing about x over y being something to do with the x over y being something to do with the roots of a quadratic of z. Okay, we can piece this together. Right, we're trying to understand quadratic irrationals by very quickly skimming through a textbook. What a fun activity. It's what I've been doing for months on the live stream. Quick break for nice diagrams. We try. Right, okay. What's this? The numbers P of only quadratic irrationals. Satisfying the palindromic property and that relation. This feels like the sort of thing where we already also need to look at theorem 5.2. The initial a0 in the continuing fraction must be positive, since it's half of the positive number an. Right, which the number's in there. The reciprocal of the continued fraction is this. What? Is this obvious? Oh, sort of. Not really, nothing's obvious. But the reciprocal of the continued fraction, I haven't really thought about this. If you flip it upside down, then instead of a number that's about a naught, you get something which is about 1 over a naught plus a remainder. So instead of being something like 37 over 10 is 3 plus and then 7 over 10. If you flip it upside down, then the first thing you do is you write down 1 over, because it's smaller than 1, 37 over 10, and then you go from there. So that 37 over 10 you write as 3 plus 7 over 10, and then you're off to the races, and you get the same stuff. So 7 over 10 over here is the same as 7 over 10 down here. So now the continued fraction matches up. So the reciprocal, you only have to flip the first thing outside, and you're not just flipping it. You are also, so this isn't a0 going to 1 over a0. This is that sort of arrow thing where it's sort of a division symbol and also a left bracket. All of this stuff is supposed to be down here in the denominator. Continued fractions, lots of denominator. Right, reciprocal of that must be over Q. The only quadratic irrationals having continued fractions like this. Okay, so I don't think I read this last time, or if I did, I didn't write any notes on it, which seems silly. Not very good of me. Okay, so let this be a continued fraction satisfying the palindrome property and the relation like that. Why did we take the reciprocal? Why did we do that? Oh, one or the other. One of these. So we've got one of this format where it starts as a number less than 1. One or the other. Including negative numbers, this is all of them. So it's things where the modulus is between -1 and 1, or things larger. So if you've got something larger, well, hang on, just one of these forms, but take this one and flip it over. Okay, so take this one, say palindrome condition, and that even, so it's doubling the period gives the continued fraction like this. Fine, okay, which is still palindromic and still has that condition, where the new palindrome is concatenation, which is the palindrome. Good. It is a good fact, isn't it, that you can concatenate palindromes with themselves. That's that sort of thing that Eliane would like. So, toot toot.
is a palindrome because toot is a palindrome. So when you read this backwards, okay, you start over here on this one, but it's the same as the first one. So you read it backwards, you get toot toot. It's a reference to Maths Club, where we've been talking about palindromes in Morse code with Alien a week and a bit ago. Well, it's back for season 10 of that show. It feels mad that we made it to season 10. I think we can to a year, I suppose. 2025. It all adds up. That is how number 10 works. But still, right. Toot. It's also good in Morse code because you can write that out with, I can't remember much Morse code, but loads of dashes, and it's the same backwards. One of the Morse code words, can you flip? Keep it PG. Right, okay. Everyone else was going to keep it PG, weren't they? Just me. Right. Right, yeah, I remember this. So this is about sticking this together. I think I did skim this. Sticking this together with its mirror symmetry across that middle edge of the big, there's the big picture. Stick it together with a mirror image. So you build something that's just periodic. This thing about doubling is you're sort of halfway through a number. So you have this sequence that goes something like 4, 1, 2, 1. Let's go fun sequence 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 2, 1, 3, 5, 3, 1, 2. And you might think that's a bit weird, having this 4 in other way around. Other way around. Let's put the 4 over here. This is like the sequence, the number of things that you see. We've got these nice geometric ways of thinking about these continued fractions, where I'm describing, you see 2 things like this, so 2 things like this, and then 1 thing like that, and then 3 things going the other way, and then 5, and then 3. They're describing a number of objects that you see. 2 red cars, 1 blue car, 3 red cars, 5 blue cars, 3, 1, 4. And there's this repeating section, which doesn't really make sense, except until you realise it's sort of, because it's got this backwards thing going on. And the really nice idea is that if you wrote this out backwards over here as well, with kind of mirror symmetry, but with the rule that these ones, so this is red and blue, that these ones are also red and blue. So if you look at it, put it in the mirror, then you get, between both of these, you get 4. And now it's a nice palindromic thing, nice periodic thing that's palindromic. You just happen to be like halfway in the middle. There's maybe a geometric way to see this. Something like, you have a nice pattern which almost has mirror symmetry. So what would I draw? I would draw like half a circle, that's where the reflection is going to be, and then some white dots, and then some black dots, and then some white dots, and then 1 black dot, so that it's palindromic, and then repeat that, black, white, black, where I'm being a bit cheeky and using half instead of 1, which doesn't happen here because they're all integers at the top. But if you have this with half in the middle, then you say, well, it's a bit weird having this half at the front, and the rule that is 1/2 of whatever this is. So maybe it should be 3 here, 1.5. For the kind of visual analogy that I'm trying to do. 3 here, 1.5. 1.5. So you'd say 1.5. It's a bit weird that that's like half over here, and 1.5 is half of 3. And then you say, well, no, actually, this is a symmetry thing. The stuff in between is mirror image. So maybe this would be, yeah, that's fine. 2, 2, 2 is acceptable. 2, 2, 2, 3. The stuff in between is mirror symmetric, and it extends to the left as well if you put the mirror right here, because then you get the other half of this string. Hooray. Good. Oh yeah, let's look at the top graph. I do want to look at the top graph. Thank you, Maths 22222. Is it this one? Yeah, this one. Good. Well, hang on. This is the separator line. Maybe I'm not ready for. In a moment. Where are we looking then? Writing this.
the equation becomes like this. What's going on? So this is the kind of equation that we're now building, where we've got this symmetry. Oh yeah, this is the symmetry. So you can shift along this line. That periodic stuff is good for us. So then it is going to be the root of a quadratic equation, because we know that doing this shift, the fixed points satisfy a quadratic. The shifts are all like rational linear functions. Can't remember what we called them. Yeah. We could give it a go. Yeah, you've drawn it on. There we go. There's another good Desmos, thank you. So it's a little bit tricky, but each of the regions has a fraction associated with it. I maybe prefer to think of that as a pair of points, but whatever, that are being plugged into this function. So for example, 5, 3, when you plug them in, you get 25 minus 3 lots of 9 is minus 2. So the bit next to 5, 3 is labelled minus 2. And this red line is showing us the positive and negative bits. It's got this mirror symmetry because, well, if you flip the sign of the number, you're just flipping the sign of x, or if you prefer, you're flipping the sign of y or something, and they're being squared, so no one cares. For this shape of quadratic form. Oh, it has fraction mode. But okay, I don't mind the fractions running outside, they're fine. So then the result is something like, we're looking at whether you turn left or right. So this, what is this doing? So this is doing the continued fraction for root 3. I can't remember what that is. Ooh, what do you want? Oh, 2. Oh, I see. So you can draw in those fractions on the inside to show which one's identified with which. Oh, that's nice. Okay. And then the values. 3 for both. Ah, right. Okay. Lovely. Oh, with arrows. Very good. So what happens when you put the numbers in? Where's the one I did out loud? Putting in 5 and 3, you get minus 2. Okay. Lovely. So we get this kind of separator line. And then the innovation is to do it symmetrically and to say that. To say that this is a periodic thing that's going on. So let's look in terms of whether you're turning left or right when you get to the junctions. So you're starting over here from this kind of place and following, we turn left. I'm imagining that I'm walking in, turning left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right. It's got this nice pattern to it, including as going around here. I'll try it again. Left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right. We haven't proved that it's periodic yet. That's to do with the fact that it's sort of bounded, and these there's a proof coming up that I think I skimmed last time to see what was coming on, but with the values you see along the sides, you see they're all like 1, -2, -3. The numbers that you see along here, 1s on this side, they're not that exciting. So in particular, if you want solutions where it's equal to 1, you just look along this line. That would be nice, right? X squared minus 3y squared. There they are. That's a periodic way you're going to go and find them. You have to be able to, once you've put in the effort to understand or visualize what these points are and where you're going, you're generating which numbers. Okay, as we walk through. Good. So what was the thing we were just talking about then in this context? Right, so I think the thing we're trying to prove is something like, if you have a particular format, then you are the root of a quadratic. Let's see. So what are we proving? The thing down here. The thing down here is that these are the only, which is another way of saying if you satisfy those properties at the bottom, if you satisfy those properties, then you are a number of the form root P over Q. So I want to understand that a bit, I think. So how far have I got? We're just going to look at one of them, and the one that's going to turn out to be a quadratic irrational that's between -1 and 1. Oh, I'm really sorry. What did I do? I unplugged something. Maybe it made loads of noise. Oh, it was very near the mic. Sorry about that. I switched from one tablet to a different one. I thought I could do it sneakily. I forgot that my audio is being recorded and broadcast to the internet, and in particular to Mary. Sorry. Okay. Palindrome condition. So what have we got? Once we know that it's periodic, which is the thing we're given really. Once we know that it's periodic, the place you're going to is satisfies a quadratic equation from this kind of fixed point equation. Because where are you going with this transformation that goes, in our case I think it was left, right, right. Let's have another look. Left, right, right, left, right, right as you walk along. Left, right, right is a transformation that the scenery around you changes, but the path ahead of you looks pretty much the same, and your plan is to go left, right, right again. All right, okay. If you do that, then you're just taking this kind of large step of size, left, right, right, which is kind of like fractal picture, means you're going in a predictable direction. There's a transformation for what you're doing. Okay. So then the roots are like this. Also negatives of each other by the mirror symmetry. Okay, and then you're done, because then your roots of a quadratic and roots of a quadratic that are just plus and minus sum to 0, so they're roots of the form some expression of the form qx squared minus p, which is what we want. Since alpha is positive, we then have this. Yeah, fine, okay. Yeah, you broke the symmetry, but yeah, sure. Okay, good. Okay. We might ask whether you always get this. Do I mind about this? Every periodic line appears as the separated line for some form, but didn't we just show that a periodic line corresponds to the roots of some, it's going towards the roots of some quadratic, so just take that one. Right, let's have a look. Given a periodic line, periodicity of the line corresponding to realised by some linear transform T, just seen, endpoints are the solution of this, which is the root of the quadratic. And then the coefficient is non-zero, fine, okay, good. Yep, okay, it's not trivial. So A must be non-zero, that's when you assume this, okay. And then we claim that you should look at this quadratic form. This is the switch I was trying to describe out loud between this quadratic equation and that quadratic form. We claim that there was a separator line, and this is about looking at the roots, right? Yeah, it's shape of the quadratic. Good, okay, I did remember this bit successfully. Good, okay. Yeah, positive or negative, what are you up to? Good. And then the roots look like theirs. It's kind of nice. What are they doing? Divide it into two arcs. With the form taking positive values at vertices in one arc, and then negative values at vertices in the other arc. Don't ask about 1 over 0. What's this picture on the right trying to show me? Bits of the Vero diagram with alpha and alpha. R over there is 1 over, because these are very particular quadratic forms, right? B might be non-zero. Okay. Yeah, I can imagine that weird transformation. Not just root n today. Okay, fair enough. Right, good. Let's find a quadratic form whose periodic separated line is like this. Okay, there's the transformation, there's the quadratic form. Yeah, it seems alright, doesn't it? Work out this, turn it into a quadratic equation, 3, 8 minus 7, write down that one. All good. Okay, and that's one where B in the middle is non-zero. Good. Any constant multiple will also have the same separated line. Yes, good. simplified by observing the period line we started with was taken to itself by glide reflection. It only goes half as long, so there's a different one like this, which gives us the same quadratic. Lovely. Okay, and so that was what we were doing before. Pell's equation. And this is where we started talking about solutions, where it was 1 or something. We had this separator line, I remember now. That was connected to loads of things. So if you have the separator line, you can look for solutions to a particular equation nearby. I think we had a proof that things get larger further away, but I can't see that right now. Sort of redo everything with matrices, it was a bit of a mess. Okay. Good. Transformations are your friend. What was 5 doing? Oh, it's going to classify these in terms of what's going on. We're going to look at the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. And then we have this way of drawing arrows, right? Where h is q plus r minus p for the difference in arithmetic progression. We have this rule that going from p to q plus r to s is an arithmetic progression. So you have this kind of behaviour going around. And then we thought about when that might hit 0. Actually hitting 0 is quite bad because it means you're one of these not very exciting quadratic forms that sometimes gives 0. Kind of embarrassing. Those ones like factorize or something, right? Maybe? Yeah, I think they do. But anyway, they have discriminant 0. So, fine. And then there's this qualitative behaviour which I feel like I should learn. I remember this thing about source edges. Yeah, they seem important. The other possibility is no edge has the label h equals 0, and in that case you get a source node like that. Okay. Hyperbolic forms have a periodic separator line. That's the thing that we wanted. There it is, 5.2. How did this proof work? Was it sort of walk towards it, or was that a different thing? Yeah, okay. There must exist 2 regions of opposite sign. You can walk along until you find a boundary bit, and then think about what's going on nearby. Just mark in the separator line, and it can't branch, and it can't stop. So you get this separator line. We haven't proved it's periodic. There you go. Okay. Right, and this is the finitely many things. Okay, so I've done this. It's been a bit more of a revision section, but good to keep it fresh because I might not come back to this for some time, so trying to look at it again. Also, I think I skipped quite a lot of it before. I'm skipping quite a lot of it now, but you know, there we go. So let's see if I can remember. Let's try and get this in my head. But what was it that was bounded? Right, okay, so what a P and Q. Okay, and go all the way back. Theorem 5.2, here we are. Edges for which the 2 adjacent regions are labelled by numbers of opposite signs, separator line, form a line which is infinite in both directions. And the top graph is periodic along this line. Okay, so that was the bit to say that it existed. And then the periodic part, I still need to know what P and Q are, sorry, flipping around quite a lot. Jumping around. What P and Q? Where's P and Q? Okay, right, here we are. For an edge of the separator line labelled H with adjacent regions labelled P and negative Q, has to be positive and negative. Can't give 0. Has to be positive and negative. That's what the separator line does. It separates off positive values from negative values. They have opposite sign by definition of what we're talking about. Okay, so if they're labelled P and minus Q, then H squared plus 4PQ is kind of fixed as some number. Oh, but this is, so these things are then bounded by, these things are positive h squared is positive, and they add up to delta. So there's only a few possibilities of how to do that. Each of these things has to be smaller than delta, because even if h is 0, which I'm not sure it is, but even if h is 0, then this thing can only be as large as, well, delta over 4, in particular is less than delta. Yeah, okay, only finitely many combinations of values of h, p, and q. It's a good trick, I like it a lot. So you're going to get back to the same situation you were going over before, and then you are off to the races because the next bit over here is determined by, in this case, p minus q, because it's labelled negative q, but plus h is the number over here. And then you keep going because h is fixed for a region? No, you keep going because now you've got enough stuff to generate everything, right? When this branches again, you've got two things, so you can work out the third. You can use the arithmetic regression rules to fill in the rest. Cool, right, okay. I think I'm running out of time, which is because I'm doing this. What am I doing? I think if I were doing this properly, I would now go back and try to remember why the difference h is that constant for a particular region. I think it is from memory, but not great. Oh yes, because you have an arithmetic progression going around. These things must be an arithmetic progression because we're just using the arithmetic progression rule quite a lot. So I can just understand the arithmetic progression rule, which I think we just proved by just doing some algebra. So just sort of checked it, which is fair enough, but not very satisfying. Okay. So around any region, these ones form an arithmetic progression. You keep going, you keep progressing. The difference is the same as the previous difference, which is enough to say they're all the same by sorts of induction. Okay, I think I might be wrapping up, I don't know. I've switched to reading this textbook. I've reread some things. Haven't really got into it. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's becoming fun the more I reread. I'm worried that I've lost all momentum. I haven't got back from the high of suggesting that you could adopt a gorilla by purchasing an integer. Look at all these. We could do negative ones as well and label them all with fractions. Good. Yeah. Always like that. Yes. This says general conclusions, so maybe I'm going to shimmy past this. Finitely many when it's elliptical, zero hyperbolic. Yeah, it gives you either go along the periodic line, or you move away from it and it gets larger. Sort of. That's just, there's other ways of doing that, right? That's just, if Q is elliptic, then I think you're just obviously, not obviously, but you're bounded in what x and y can be to give n. I have so many zero-dimensional points that they add up to something with measure non-zero. Right, I've got back to equivalence of forms. I've got back to 5.2. 20,000 zero-dimensional points is pretty good. Is that what we called them? That is what we called them, right? I did rename them. Oh no, I just clicked on the button to give myself money. That's not a button worth clicking. Murray, you spent them all on tea, which I am enjoying. Thank you for the reminder. Right, I've got quite mumbly as well. I'm losing the power. This is the 4th live stream I've done this week, but it should be the best, right? Always the best. We did 2 for the open day, one for Maths Club, 1 on these. Let's go. Right, equivalence of forms. We're going to do this. Oh, it's all LFZ in here. It's going to be great. We're going to push a little bit further through chapter 5. Also, this is theorem 5.2 was good one. Chapter 5.2. No idea what's going on there. often omit the fractional labels because they don't have the Desmos made by maths 22222, which lets you just switch them back on again. Just looking at the values. Yes, okay. Top products look the same. For a precise definition, you can say they're equivalent if there's a vertex v1 and a vertex v2. Oh my goodness, okay. Such that the values of q1 in the 3 regions surrounding that vertex are equal, then you can work out all the rest. If the values at v1 are 2, 2, 3, then the values at v2 should be 2, 2, 3 in any order, because you can just flip them over, it's fine. There's no structure to 3. If it were about 4 things, then I would worry that changing the order might matter, but 3, flippy. Rotate and flip, and it's all fine. Something like the permutation group on 3 objects really is the symmetry group of a triangle. The permutation group on 4 objects is not the symmetry group of a square. Yeah, good. Mumble, equilateral, mumble, geometry. Mumble, there we go. Right. Since the 3 values were off and away. Okay, alternative definition. If there's a linear fractional transformation. It's the same because then, oh right, okay. This is the same because you're just looking at the same picture but translated around. I remember when we did that, we did some Desmos of these things moving and doing the transformations. It's quite hard to animate because we didn't really have a sense of what the intermediate points should be, really. Maybe I'll think about that again one day. Yeah, we have one sort of transformation we could do, the kind of pivot about infinity. We got good animations of those. But there are others. Like a reflect, how do you animate a reflection really in 2D? Everything kind of moving through the plane and coming out the other side. I wouldn't do that. Yeah, anyway. If 2 top graphs each have a vertex surrounded by the same triple, there is an element. So if you did a transformation, then you get a triple. If there's a different vertex v2, then that would be somewhere in the fairy diagram, so transform over there, and it's all the same. Yeah, okay. Mirror images are fine at the bottom here. These ones are always equivalent. Is that x goes to minus x? Yes. Yes, okay, good. Reflection, good. Equivalent forms have the same discriminant, since the discriminant form is determined by 3 numbers surrounding any vertex. I'd forgotten that. I'm not sure I knew what discriminant was. I kind of believe it though. You have 3 numbers, you can work out anything you like. Right, okay, all the different equivalence classes are on forms of a different given a discriminant. What have you got? What are you working with? Okay, let's elliptic forms first. They're the ones that are single signed, I think. Only the forms with positive values. Yep. Okay. Negative ones, just put a minus sign at the front. They'll take different values, but not equivalent. Source vertex. The smaller 2 of the 3 adjacent values of Q be A and C. Oh my goodness. Oh, fine. Okay, go and find a source vertex or edge. Smaller 2 of the 3 adjacent values of Q. Smaller 2 of the 3, so not edge then. The smaller 2 of the 3 adjacent values of Q. Be A and C with A less than or equal to C. This is a source node, source vertex. A and C. The third of these is if the 3 smallest values of Q is then C minus H. Form Q is equivalent to the form that, which has those values. Oh, I see. So we found a canonical expression that does those. And the latter equivalently is that. So H is less than A is less than C. I've seen things like that before. In that form. Oh, that's called reduced. Okay, so a good thing. But this seems to have come out of nowhere. That luckily we could think of one that had those properties. And then once it's got the same 3 values, we're all set. Yeah, okay. Oh, sorry, I've labelled this. What am I doing? So these are both source. No. Don't understand what I'm doing. That's a source vertex. Okay. Chat want me to keep going for 3 minutes, so I'm going to keep going, even though I'm not sure I'm doing a good job. Wait, this isn't a job. I'm just doing. Every positive elliptic form is equivalent to that. Okay, with the reduced form, fine. Okay, preference for C to be larger than A. Okay. And they're all positive numbers. Oh, it's equivalent to a form of that type. Okay, so like x squared plus 25y squared. Fine. Okay. Two different reduced elliptic forms with the same discriminant are never equivalent. Once they've been reduced, we're now done, because A and C are the labels on the two regions. We found this kind of a unique thing about it. If you want to identify one that has a source node like this, then you go there and you look at those three numbers, and that classifies it. If you had different three numbers as the smallest three numbers around the three numbers around the source node, then you would be looking at the same something equivalent. If you had the same numbers, you'd be looking at something equivalent, and that's kind of a unique kind of barcode on it, if you like. You find that point and you scan it there at the point where all the arrows are coming out. Okay. To avoid dealing with negative numbers, off we go, and that's the discriminant. To find all equivalence classes of forms of discriminant negative 2. Okay. Bound the choice for h. Oh my goodness. H squared is less room to d over 3. This limits h to a finite number of possibilities. Oh, so we're going to look for a particular value of d. We're going to try and find out which elliptic, which forms actually exist, which ones we can make. So given a discriminant, what can you do? We just need to find all the finitely many factorizations of h squared plus d as that with this and this for some h. Yeah, we don't know h, do we? That's 4 times a times c. I thought we didn't know h. Oh, h is bounded by d over 3. So then you only get so many things for h. You add on h squared onto your number d. So okay, if d is 17 or something, well, look at it, minus 260. Fine. Okay, minus 260. So that bounds this 260 over 3. H can't be that large. And then you look over here, and you've got to factor this. Because this is equal to 4ac. Okay. Corresponding values for A and C look like this. You've got to factorize things. So that gives you certain forms with a particular discriminant. Not obvious to me that you'll find any. Oh no, but look, we're going to start spotting patterns now already. Values of AC increase successively. Oh no. In this table, as you change H, because they are D plus H squared, right? No, yeah, divided by 4 or something. Minus D plus H squared divided by 4. So as you change H, you get that H squared over 4 effect, right? Why are they going up by? Why is H even? What's going on there? Why is H even? Oh, might be getting there. Might be getting there. Might be stuck. Since this is even, so is H. What's going on there? Delta. So is H. Oh, right, because this, in this equation, we're looking at, in this equation, 4 is even. So if delta is even, so is H. And that bounds it as well. This is a mess, isn't it? sort of all going on everywhere. Whenever this is even, h is even, and these, you get some numbers like this. And then for odd numbers, h must be odd, and you get this, and you get some sort of quadratic sequence for AC. Quadratic sequence, I just said. Exercise for the reader. So what's going on? So this is going up by, this sequence here is like 4k squared, for once for better letter, but 4k squared for h squared. So minus delta plus h squared is all over 4 is minus delta over 4 plus k squared. So plus 1 plus 4 plus 9, and then the differences, if you're interested in differences, the differences of k squared. Odd numbers. For odd h, well, you plug it in and you get 2k plus 1 squared over 4. So then if you care about differences, you're doing differences of odd squares, that's even numbers. Not quite true. Not quite true. Factors of 2 and 4. I'm out by factors of 2 and 4. Odd square, previous odd square. Feels like that difference would be odd actually. It's divided by 4. Ugh, yuck. 5 squared. So my theory is you're adding 5 squared and then 7 squared, and the whole thing's divided by 4. So if you add 5 squared, that's like adding 25. If you add 7 squared, you're adding 49. The difference is not odd there. The difference between two odd squares is probably an even number, isn't it? 24. Also a multiple of 4. That's a surprise to me. Shouldn't be a surprise to me, because it is this, which the k squareds cancel, the 1's cancel, and you get 4k of the first one minus 4k of the second one to get 8k. And the whole thing's divided by this 4 here, so this difference will be even numbers. Good, nice. Appropriate challenge level, i.e. nice and easy. So 6 reduced forms to give that discriminant. So it was my choice of minus 17, just sort of terrible. So I'm going to do mine. If delta is minus 17, then h squared is less than or equal to 17 over 3, which is not very large. So maybe my choice is looking quite bad. My choice is as large as 5. I haven't thought about oddness or evenness yet, so I'm going to think about h being any of these. Not even as large as that, only as large as 2. Haven't thought about these yet. And I need 4ac to be equal to, for me, 17 plus h squared. So that's equal to either 17 or 18, or if you have 2 on here, 421. And I see that now that some of these are pretty silly. None of the multiples of 4. I've messed that up, maybe. Odd delta, the values of h are 1, 3. But then 1, I've got no solutions. I haven't even got an integer. I sort of think that'll happen whenever this is 1 mod 4. You'll try 1. You'll get something 2 mod 4, which is a disaster. So worse than that. Yeah, okay, I think I've got no solutions, and this is why it's not minus 17 in here. Could be alright though, eventually. So adding 1 will be a problem, but then adding... No, because then all squares. Oh, I think we might be more onto this. 17 might be bad. I think delta isn't 1 mod 4. Sort of ever. Proof. Delta is actually equal to 4ac, h squared minus 4ac. Consider the cases. H squared is either a multiple of 4, in which case, hooray, or it's 1 more than a multiple of 4. Alright, which would be the case that the whole thing works out being 1 more than a multiple of 4. What am I talking about? Okay, I'm wrong. So 17 is fine. you just shouldn't add 1. You should add 9. No, this is rubbish. Oh, there's a minus sign. No. Yeah. A minus sign, right? There's a minus sign, but it doesn't help because there's a minus sign over here, right? I think. Back up a page. Down here. What did that tell me? H squared minus 4ac. That could be 114. Okay, well I want to do 4. Minus 17 is not 114. Minus 17 is 3 mod 4. I've been trapped by a minus sign. Okay, I'm going to change it. So this, because this is 3 mod 4, I'm going to write out, I think delta isn't 3 mod 4. And it was a mistake to try something that was 3 mod 4. Yes, it can't be 2 or 3 mod 4. And crucial connecting idea, negative 17 is 3 mod 4. Because it's 1 less than a multiple of 4. Minus signs. You got to think about them even when you're doing modular arithmetic. My goodness, that's not my finest hour. Right, okay. So minus 17, not a great example. Let's try minus 19 instead. Then h squared has got to be less than 19 over 3, which now includes the exciting possibility that h squared is 6, although that's still not great. So then we would consider 4ac equal to, finally, we would be thinking about things like 20, where ac could be 5. Our convention is we want c to be larger than a, so we'd have the pair 1, 5. And we would have this thing which has discriminant minus 19, which is x squared. What do I do? What do I write down for b? Is b something like h minus... Oh, b is written as h, which is why it's h squared minus 4ac. H is 1 in that case. xy minus, oh no, plus 5y squared. Hooray! We generated a quadratic form with discriminant negative 90. Hooray! We tried minus 19 and got that, I think. RFL. That's a 5 at the end. 1 squared minus 1 times minus 5. No. Plus. It's a plus 5. One squared minus 4 times 1 times 5. It's minus 19. Not supposed to be hard, probably. Unique, actually, in the sense that there's only one way to factorise 5, and I only have one value for h to try. Yeah, these ones don't have separated lines. These are currently, we are classifying the elliptic ones. They have, what do we call this? Separated node or something? Source node, that's what we called it. Not a separator node, sorry, totally different thing. Source node. I think in a second we're going to categorize the ones that you, the ones that you like with a separator line. Oh yeah, wow. Okay, good. Yeah, okay. Small parts of the topographs of these forms. Nice. If you see these ones, it's one of those. If you see these ones, oh, right, okay, lovely. Okay. So in terms of the arithmetic progressions, this one is 0 because 66, 66, 66 is no change. This one, 18, that's 0, so that's boring. But then this one, 33, 35, 37 increases in that direction. 23, 25, 27 increases in that direction. So this is kind of walking away thing. And if you work out some values over here, you'll find 2, 36, some huge number. 33, 35, some large number over here, where you're walking in an increasing 33, 35, getting larger. 30, where do I point? 2, 66, getting larger in that direction. So I've got these source nodes here and here. 20, 22, and then this pair make 26, getting larger. 3 and 46 are getting larger in that direction. Okay, nice. You keep going,
you get these ones. Okay, where we did some inequality stuff and it was a good way to reduce cases or something. Okay, now hyperbolic. Here we go. Half 4? Yeah, let's wrap up quite soon, but okay. We have the edge label H with adjacent regions labeled P and negative Q. Reorient and find this one. We're going to classify these. We already decided before that all of these numbers are less than delta. We're going to do slightly better and say that H squared is less than delta. Find out how many possibilities of H, and then you'll subtract it and factorize to get P and Q. Yeah. Okay, that looks very similar, doesn't it? Our bound is now H squared is less than delta, which is slightly different, but still. All quadratic forms of discriminant 60. Oh, okay. Right, cracky. Like that. These two forms are not equivalent from the topographs. They look different. The negatives of these two forms, two inequivalent forms. Huh. What's going on there? Oh, you just put negative signs on all the numbers. Do you get kind of the same shape? But that's irritating to me that you get the same shape, but it's not considered equivalent. The same shape of the separator line, but it's in a different place, so maybe I shouldn't complain. No, it's in the same place, it's just got all negative values. What's going on? Is that not, that's not considered equivalent, because it's got different values. We know exactly what they are, they just put minus signs on everything, mate, but they're in the same places. But okay, fine. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Not equivalent. I guess fair enough. I mean, it's got the same roots, so it's going to the same place, but the separator line goes to the same place, right? If I take this one and I put a big minus sign in front of it, I think this is fully coded up, right? So I can just put like a minus sign and just flips all the signs. The separator line is still where it was, nothing actually moves, but apparently these ones are not considered equivalent. Different values, I suppose. The question, can it take the value 1, is yes and no in the two cases respectively, so I guess maybe I should respect that as a distinction. Okay, big table with lots of possibilities, but it looks pretty similar, just as in the elliptic case. Ooh, each pair of values... Oh, we're actually finding P and Q now, so these are things. Each pair of values is not obvious. Occurs at some edge in one of the two topographs, or the negatives. So how do I prove that? So something like, if you name 3 numbers, we know that these are equivalent to each other. So if your form's equivalent to one particular thing with particular numbers P and Q, then there's some transform which sends it over to a very particular one. Or maybe I should say that I can transform both of them, and then I just need to find a canonical one which actually has that value P and Q along that. Is it this? Is it this? Not being true. All the possibilities in the table, we could have used these other possibilities to generate new forms like this. I think it is this, which takes the value P on one side. If you put in 1, 0, it takes the value Q on the other side. And then H, I think, is going to give you the difference for what happens when you go to the right or left. You go to 1, 1, and you gain an H. You go to minus 1, 1, you lose an H. That's the arithmetic progression. The difference is H. Okay, good. Minus Q? Yeah, okay, minus Q. Brill. Okay, this works for all the hyperbolic forms. Make all of these. Difference equivalent classes of forms from delta. Okay. Each solution gives a form like that. That's a good canonical form for it. These are organised as a cycle, so dear, corresponding to the pairs P minus Q occurring along one of the periodic separator lines. Right, okay, so if you see a pair of numbers, that's not enough to know which quadratic form you're looking at. So if you just see, if I just show you the smallest part of this picture, show you there's a 1 and a negative 2, then you don't know which one you're looking at. You see it's a positive number and a negative number. Okay, if I show you a positive number and a negative number and say, do you recognise this quadratic form, then that's not enough. Because if you give me one more number, then that will fix it up.
and help. But I don't know, maybe it is enough. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe not. No, so I can choose anything else. The value of h matters. Do I get suspicious and say there isn't one with 1 on one side, minus a million on the other? No, so for some values of P and Q, I'm good, right? I work out delta. This is an example case up here, but I would work out. Yeah, delta could still be anything. Yeah, okay. So you show me 2 numbers. That's not enough. Ooh, good job, math tutors to do in chat. I've just seen what you did with your last 2 chat messages. Good. 4 cycles. What were you telling me? Oh, right. Okay. So all the ones, because you need the value of h. Once you've got the value of h, you can then go and generate the rest of it, and it will be equivalent to this with h in the middle. But ones with different values of h are definitely different. Okay. So the 14 pairs turn up, and they all turn up because they all turn up in these, and we're just doing an equivalence relationship on those. We got back to equivalence relationships as an example of things being equivalent. A, R, B. Anyway. Okay. A hyperbolic form belongs to one of the cycles. The form belongs to the cycle. So you get some of the pairs that you see along the way. Yeah, okay. So you see some pairs along the way. This is the one where you see 11 and 1. Flipping backwards and forwards. So what's this? 1, 11, minus 11, 1. Somehow. But never. No, I don't know what that means. Sorry. So sometimes you see this, and sometimes you see this, and somehow you see both of these things. I need an example of that. Oh, h is 4. So my example should be, let's say that I want to know what's over here. H is 4, so this is 10, and then I suppose this would be 14. So it'll be up there. I'm a bit confused, because then don't you see? So then what's next? We have 11, 10, so 6. 11, dear. That's gone quite badly wrong. What's next after you've got these 11 and minus 1? With h being still the number on here. Oh, h, no. 4. 10, 14. Is it this? No, because then I've got other sort of pairs, right? My separator line includes things like 6 minus 1. 6 and 1 and 4 and 1. 14 and 1, which are in these cases. So I've switched to the wrong sort of PQ. Wait, no, but these aren't different. Ooh, I've got confused. So what's actually classifying this? One of the 2 topographs. There's only actually 2 topographs, or the negatives. Or the negatives is key. Is there a relationship between P and Q? Is one of them larger than the other? Not necessarily. We've got all the mirror images in here as well. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. So I thought P and Q were just, if you see some numbers. Right. I skipped a bit here, didn't I? So 60, okay. So it's not true that PQ is fixed along these. So I shouldn't read across this row and say those are the pairs that you see. For example, along here you see 3, 2, which is down here, and also 7, 2, which is up here. And then you see 7 minus 2 again, and then you see 3, 2 again, and then you see 3 minus 5, which is up here, and then some more stuff. I think you see, oh no, then you're done. You see 3, 2 again. And then you see those. So these ones kind of belong to a cycle. You see everything. It's not obvious how many cycles you get. It's kind of coincidence that there are 4 values of h here, because h is always changing in these, so as to maintain the discriminant h squared plus 4bq. Okay, good. I'm not going to calculate it for those, but it would be a good check. So you've got these weird cycles. It's not obvious to me how many cycles you get, even once you've calculated them. Right. Number of forms within a cycle. I thought the cycle was... Oh, I'm getting really lost now. Within a cycle is not a phrase that I understand. Yep. Okay. I think I might have to call it a day, actually. We're not going to categorize any zero hyperbolic or parabolic forms. I haven't understood what a cycle is. Okay. There's a technology word in here. Pairs p minus q. The cycles correspond to these. Yeah. I think we'll call it there, though. Some maths. I want a definition of a cycle, I think. I can try and extract a definition from those lines, but that's non-trivial. Right. Have a nice afternoon, everybody. I have, sorry to do this yet again. I'm not here next week. Next week is the Maths Festival, which is a lot of maths activities. We have loads of families visiting the Maths Institute, and we're playing lots of games. And there's a massive soft play Soma Cube thing. If you haven't seen a Soma Cube, you can kind of build one for yourself at home. I'll just show you a diagram of one. So the Soma Cube looks like this. It's got these little pieces. There are 7. It's all the things that you can make with 3 or 4 cubes, except not the square and not the straight lines. And that's 27 small cubes, so the challenge is to fit them together as a cube or build other stuff. And we've got one of these that is, when it's assembled, 1 meter wide, which is large. I'm going to mess around with that and some visiting families, trying to convince people that mirror images are a thing. Well, it's a thing worth caring about. It's the yellow and pink one. Mirror images. Oh. Maybe build some other stuff as well. It's going to be so good. We've got lots of small ones, and we also got a massive one. It's going to be great. Right, okay. Yep, I will see you in 2 weeks for more Twitch stuff. Probably back to the book, or possibly I'll have thought of another diagram I want to make. Either way, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your next weekend. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I'm ending the live stream. Bye.